Sue here for the Coco magazine. Today we have joining us two amazing women who I like to refer to as the fairy godmothers of fashion. Owners of ShopRagHouse.com, the lovely Bridget Hilton, and the lovely Joanna Flores, who's joining us via Skype. Ladies, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having us.
So I want my viewers, and our readers to understand why I call you guys the fairy godmothers of fashion. So why don't you start off by telling us, what is ShopRagHouse.com?
So ShopRagHouse.com is a platform for people who are interested in fashion and fashion design. Essentially what happens is that our members submit ideas for articles of clothing. Right now we're focusing on dresses. And we host a competition on the website. All of our members are eligible to vote in the competition, and we turn the winning designs into samples and make them available for sale on our website.
Okay, so I want to make sure everyone understands, because this is almost like a virtual project runway, I feel like. So, if I have like an awesome idea for a dress, I have no skills, I don't know how to sew or use a sewing machine, I don't have the ability to, buy all the things I need to make this dress, I can draw my design and essentially submit it to your website and you will create it and produce it?
If you win a competition first, so our members are allowed to vote in different cycles of the competition to say, okay, that's a dress that I would buy if it were made. And when a design receives enough votes, then we move it into the production phase. Once it's in production phase, people can pledge to buy it. And if the dress gets enough pledges, we make it, it's sold, the designer gets a share of the profits. All of the people that help to construct the garment are obviously compensated for their work. And ShopRagHouse, naturally it is a business, gets a share as well.
What an ingenious and innovative idea. Joanna, how did you come up with such a great idea?
Last year, Bridget was interested in starting a fashion line, and we both always been interested in fashion, but we really didn't know how to get started. And I witnessed her encountering a lot of obstacles, whether they were financial resources or just really not knowing how to get involved in the fashion industry. And so we thought that probably a lot of other people were also in the same boat, and we wanted to provide a space where people with interest in fashion but that didn't know how to get involved could do so.
So this is really, giving people who wouldn't have a chance to enter the fashion industry a sort of in a way, correct? Because the designer benefits from it as well.
That's exactly right. We really were committed to the idea of democratizing fashion because we think a lot of people have really great ideas for clothes and things like that and don't always have the capital or the resources to actually have them made. So it's a way to really put it back into the hands of the people. That was like sort of our manifesto when we started ShopRagHouse.
Okay. Now, if I can't draw, and I have this awesome idea, but I'm just challenged in that area. You have a really neat thing on there as well that helps people out. So tell us a little bit about that.
So actually, Joanna and I, neither of us are artists. We're not very good. Sorry, Joe. We're not. So we actually have a team of artists who, if you submit your design and you're not confident that it's aesthetic enough for the site or it matches the aesthetic, we have artists who will turn it into something that belongs in the pages of Vogue. So we had a really cool piece of art almost from your basic ideas. So it's really cool.
So now both of you were previously Harvard Law graduates, working in corporate law. Why abandon the security of that career to go into the fashion industry, and why the fashion industry at all?
Well, I think for one, it's something that we both have always been really passionate about. We love pretty clothes, I think most women do. And then also going into legal practice, we sort of knew going in that it wasn't going to be a long-term thing for us. But going to a firm, you got so much of an education in the practice of law in the business world that it was important for both of us to take the opportunity to go to the firms and to see what it would be like. So really thankful for having those opportunities.
Like Bridget mentioned, we were both looking for something that we were passionate about. So when the concept came along, it was like an easy transaction, just moving right from our experience to fashion.
I love to tell this story about my firm in particular. I went to work and I was wearing red patent leather pumps, and my secretary pulled me aside and said, Bridget, you probably shouldn't wear this. And learning from that experience, but also having it sort of reaffirm that I was a square peg in a round hole, and that when the time was right, I was going to transition into doing something that was more in line with the things that I'm passionate about, but that I'd also be able to use my legal skills. So it's been great.
So that's really great that you guys were able to apply, what you learned in law school and what you had in that practical experience in law to your business. What advice would you give other young entrepreneurs who are entering the business world, whether it be in fashion or somewhere else, about, forming their business and, getting their business off the ground and things of that nature?
Yeah, I think it's really important to be a good self-starter and a manager. When you work in corporate America or in most jobs, you have someone who's saying, these are the deadlines, this is what we need to get done, it's going to take X amount of hours, and you kind of have a set schedule. When you start your own business, all of that is on you. You have to decide every day what the priorities are, what needs to get done in what order, and really learn to manage and micromanage yourself and the hours during the day so that you can get the most done and to really get your business off the ground.
Now, you and Joanna, you both wear very many different hats within your business. Talk to us about that, because you're really doing everything almost.
Absolutely. So that's another thing about being an entrepreneur, starting a startup. It's you wear many, many hats. So yes, we do the legal work for our organization. We've partnered with some folks at Harvard Law School to kind of do our incorporation and things like that, and we draft contracts. I mean, we are literally negotiating and doing all these wonderful skills, using all these wonderful skills that we learned in law school. But we're also, doing web design and graphics editing and sales and
modeling. Any modeling?
No modeling yet. I think we're both a little too short, but we're doing marketing, we're doing social media. I mean, you name it, we've done it, and it's part of the fun, I guess, of the startup world is that you do get to wear many hats. So if you find something boring, don't worry, there's something else to do in 5 minutes.
Okay. So. Now, you and Joanna are both daughters of Caribbean immigrants, correct?
That's
Jamaica
right.
and Haiti, right? So I'm curious to know what influence, if any, has being of Caribbean heritage had on your success or on your ambition, etc.
That's actually a good question to follow up what we just talked about, because I think that there's almost like a stereotype that Caribbean immigrants will come to this country and they'll work 3 or 4 jobs just to get by, to become successful and to give their kids better opportunities. I know that both of our parents definitely fall into that category, and within this startup world, I feel sometimes like we work multiple jobs because we're, like we talked about, wearing the multiple hats. We're doing many, many different things to get the business off the ground, and so sometimes it feels like you have 4 or 5 jobs, and so I think being able to balance all of that is a gift that we've received from our, Caribbean parents.
And what about you, Joanna?
The Caribbean heritage is full of stories of people who've become successful because they've been willing to take risks, they've been willing to work really, really hard, and they've been determined to succeed. And those traits have been ingrained in us.
So what are your hopes for ShopRagHouse in the next 5-10 years? Where do you guys see the business taking off?
We're focusing on women's clothing, but we're hoping to eventually go into men's clothing, maternity wear, maybe accessories, shoes. So we're really hoping to be able to expand into as many markets as possible.
One day you'll have a ShopRagHouse car. We think
big dreams.
Yeah, people need an outlet for their creativity, and we want to give it to them.
I definitely think so. I definitely agree. You guys aren't only looking for designers, correct me if I'm wrong. Tell us the website, tell us how we can get involved, tell us where we can find you online, what other social media networks.
Absolutely.
We are looking for designers, absolutely. But part of what we're looking for is members who can vote on the submissions that we do receive. Right now, we're still in preview mode, so if you go to www.shopraghouse.com, you can check out some of the submissions that we've received so far that have been published on the site, and you can vote on them. Very soon you'll be able to vote on them and help us to pick which designs are made. We've actually done one cycle of the competition already, where we had our members vote on a dress and it won, and so we're actually going through the production process on that dress right now. So that's one way that users can get involved. Also, you can follow us on Twitter. We're at the Rag House on Twitter, which is a great way to stay connected with us.
Well, it was so nice talking to both you and Joanna. You ladies are such an inspiration, and I'm sure a lot of women would agree with that statement. So thank you so much for joining us today and talking to the Coco Magazine and all our readers and viewers. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you
so much.
All right, take care.
Take care.